Hey everybody, hopping on a couple minutes early to make sure everything goes smoothly since I'm on my own tonight. Just trying to finish up the end of my row. I hope everybody had a good weekend. As you pop on, tell me hi. The way I do my lives, because I'm not doing a Facebook Live per se, but I'm going through Zoom, it doesn't show me when people are logged in and watching. So I don't know if you're watching until you tell me hi. I told myself I could get to the end of this row before I started, but didn't quite happen. So I'm working on that right now. As always, if you're watching this on a replay, put in the comments, please, that you're watching it on a replay. I like to hear that. There we go. It's taking a little bit of time to get the comments. Now they're all coming through. Jackie and Stacy, Lisa, Tammy, hi. Hi, Noel. What's the weather like down there where you guys are? It's freezing here, which you couldn't tell by looking at me the way I'm dressed. I dressed to be outside in the 10-degree weather, not in the shop in the 78-degree weather. So it's a little bit different here. Kathy, Tammy, Barbara, hello, Debbie, working on pinions. Excellent. Debbie's working on the latest Casapinka pattern. I think it's the latest Casapinka pattern. Uses a whole bunch of mini skeins. So we got to play around with that last week. 50s today, still better than here. Char got the Trixie shawl done. Good. So Diane says it's freezing in Lansing too. Yeah. My poor kitty cat. I'm so thankful though that we put a spot for her in the garage and that she's got her little heating pad and stuff because she needs it definitely. We're changing her water, 4 or 5 times a day, as much as we can, so she doesn't have a little frozen water. I don't know if any of you have outside cats. Is there or outside animals in general? Is there a solution to make sure that they don't have freezing water all the time? I mean, I think the neighbors' chickens have like a water heater thing. Oh, Barbara, below 0. That's cold. 70s later this week. Noel, I would take the temperature swing if it was from like 50 to 70. I'm not so crazy about this 0 to 20. Holly, working on weaving and ends. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. As you may or may not have heard or seen in the comments, I am without Melissa tonight. She was otherwise occupied. Turns out she has a life besides helping me on Monday nights. The fish tank heater in the chicken water. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. You guys have some ideas for me. So as I go through things, I'm not going to be able to have the patterns posted in the comments right away like Melissa would normally do for me, but I do plan on going back and putting links to patterns that I talk about afterwards. So again, patience with me. And tell me if everything is okay in terms of sound and video too, because I don't have anybody double checking that for me either. But I will go ahead and get started. It's after 7. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SBRC Marketplace. General shop hours, normal shop hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If I haven't mentioned it in a while, we do have drop-in class Monday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. So while I'm in the shop doing my lives, Deb oftentimes is in the front atrium meeting with the ladies, and sometimes gentlemen. Wally was coming for a little while. It's not anything you have to schedule ahead of time. I will let people know if for some reason she's not going to be here on a Wednesday, or on a Monday, but typically from 6:30 to 8:30 every Monday nights, drop in $10 and you get her for 2 hours, anywhere from like 1 to 4 people for the most part. So it's a great way to get almost one-on-one help with something. Uh-oh. Everybody says, okay. I hope everything's all right. I'm winging it. So I had my notes and then I lost them. I think they're probably under my computer, but I know for the most part what's in front of me. I may not know designer names, but I know what I've got going on here. So first of all, what am I wearing? I'm wearing my summer sorrel. Not at all what I planned on wearing in here. In the fall, temps were pretty good in the shop and I was hoping it would stay that way. Turns out not so much. So when I got in here, the thermostat in the shop said 78. So be aware of that. If you're coming into the shop to shop or to visit, dress in layers. I mean, we're in Michigan, we kind of have to do that anyways, but this pattern is written for multiple sizes. I want to say like a 33 up to a 64 or 72. Fingering weight yarn, anywhere from 840 to 1700 yards. What I like about the pattern is that these dip stitches, they do take a little getting familiar with, but once you get a rhythm down, it's pretty easy to see. They follow in a line, as long as your yarns aren't too dark. The one Deb was working on right now is, oh, it looks so cool. It is a little bit darker, but it's a lot darker, but it's beautiful. Malabrigo yarns. How can you go wrong? So that's what I'm wearing. What am I working on? I really, really, really wanted to have a finished La Mandiola wrap. I showed it last week. Here's my well-loved copy of the pattern, well used. I still am waiting on the speckle yarn that they used as their main color in their sample, but I will have kits for these colors. We played around a lot last week with some other colors here, putting them out on the wall. A few of you saw that I posted a couple color options. Mine, if you haven't seen it or want to see it again, is natural. They call this color pearl. It's kind of, it's a purpley gray. I think I mentioned that last week that Malabrigo's grays either tend to go blue or purple. This one's kind of a purpley one. Again, I was playing around with my ring light trying to get accurate lighting, but that's hard to do on my own. And then my third color is the same as that pattern's second color. So it's this really, really deep Prussian blue. See if I can show that to you where you can actually see. Oh, look at that. You can see that blue in there. From a distance, though, it looks like black, which I think is really cool. Let me hold it up and I'll stand still so you can actually see it. Isn't that gorgeous? So it's mirrored, the white section in the middle is the center, and then it goes, it starts and ends with the same patterning, these little zigzags. Here's where I am running into a little bit of a problem, which I did post about last week too. This end, well, the beginning has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sets of rows with my pearl, the gray color. On this end, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I ran out of my second color, my color B. What it calls for is 4 skeins of DK weight yarn, and it's written for this yarn specifically. 2 skeins of color A, 1 each of color B and C. Size 7 needles. I am getting gauge. I appreciate the fact that they actually give you gauge in stockinette stitch unblocked. So I checked my gauge as I started, and then I have been checking it along the way, and I'm right on where I need to be. So I'm a little bit frustrated that I ran out of yarn, that I have to go into a second skein for, 3 inches of the end of the project. So I have had customers doing one of 2 things, one of 3 things. So there are probably more options. You could cut it short where it is. I like symmetry though, so that would bother me, but I know that doesn't bother some people. I have plenty of the natural left, probably half a skein still of the natural left. Granted, I have a solid end to do, but that's not going to take a ton. I had just under 20 grams left of my color C, which is what was in the middle. So if you want to do the wrap the way it's written, my best suggestion, oh, thank you, Diane. Look at that. Diane's going to be my backup Melissa. I love it. If you want to knit the pattern the way it's written, I would recommend getting 2 skeins each of color A and B and 1 skein of color C. The other thing you could do is carry your color C stripes a little bit further, but really that's not going to get you. I need 6 stripes, and they're all rows are the same number of stitches. So if I'm only eliminating 3 rows here, that means I'm only adding 3 rows up above. I did make a little bit of a mistake. I'll point it out to you guys because I looked at it and thought it didn't look right and couldn't figure out why. Now I see it. So in my chevrons, it's so hard to do one-handed. This section and this section have the right number of rows. This section and that section have 2 extra rows each. So I went down and back 1 more time than I should have on both of those. I realized that last week, but knowing that still would not get me enough to be able to finish it, I did not go back and rip that out. So if you decide to get the 2 skeins of color A and 2 skeins of color B, you'll be fine. You can knit the pattern the way it's written. Maybe for some reason you won't go into that second skein. That would be good. But definitely one of those, better safe than sorry. And come on, it's Malabrigo, so it's not like you can't find something else lovely to do with that skein of yarn. 1 skein would be great for a hat, fingerless mitts, a little scarf. It wouldn't be much though. Not much of a scarf anyway. If you chose to try and just eke it out with 1 skein of your color B, I would recommend that you plan ahead of time. So whatever you're gonna do at one end, do at the other end. So that's what I'm working on. I really, really was hoping I could get it done to show you guys, but I will for sure next week. Thank you. Everybody's saying it's beautiful. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I was a little bit unsure about the dark blue, but I'm so glad I did it. So I thought, let's see. I didn't get any further on my Lady Mary's comfort wrap. That's still in process, but I thought maybe I would show you all a little peek of the sweater that I'm doing for my husband. I can't really tell you a specific pattern because this is this is what I love. Oh, and I didn't even bring the pattern with me anyway. What I love about being a knitter and understanding construction of sweaters, I have taken measurements from 2 sweaters. I've taken measurements from on my husband and had him. What I recommend for a lot of people is if they're not sure what size to make, find a shirt that fits them the way they would like their finished sweater to fit them, and go with those measurements. An easy way to just lay it out, measure across the chest, measure the length. And if you're custom knitting something, it's great information to have. So I'm using the stitch count, gauge, and basic formula for his sweater, but then I incorporated, I think it's called Charlie's sweater or the Charlie sweater, into the body of it. So it's this doubled neck that will have a zipper in it. I've never put a zipper in my knitting before, so this is going to be new for me. But it's got this really nice double collar. I told him this is not going to be like a wear to work sweater. This is going to be like working out in the garage sweater, which they'll be doing that a lot too. So instead of just making it plain like the pattern called for, I decided to add the patterning from, like I said, I think it's called Charlie's sweater. It's a nod to Charlie Brown with the little chevrons, but not quite as obvious. I will say right up front, I am not very good at stranded knitting. I don't do it much. Like anything else, if I practiced more, I'm sure I would kind of get more of a rhythm. But I'm pretty happy with, make sure I don't lose anything here. I'm pretty happy with how it's looking so far. So because it's top down, I can put, I can use my little, I can't remember what they're called, pearl strings, and have him try it on. So once I split for the sleeves, actually before I split for the sleeves, I had him try it on and I'm glad I did, because I had to knit another inch in depth so it wasn't too tight under his arms. But now I can knit it to fit him the way he wants. I can knit it the length he wants. I can knit the sleeves as loose or as snug as he wants them to be, the length he wants them. That's one of my favorite things about top-down sweaters. I'm trying, I was just telling Deb about this and she hadn't heard about it. So I feel maybe a little bit like I know something. I can talk like I know something. There is a method for doing color work that is called ladder back jacquard. Type it in here, at least so you can see. What it looks like in writing if you don't understand how I'm pronouncing it. Ladder back jacquard is a way to work with 2 colors at the same time without having to catch all these floats. So I researched it because in this pattern, there are big sections where it would just be one color. So like from here, I have to get that orange from here all the way across. That's just a speck in the blue yarn. That's not my orange yarn coming through. So this method creates like a double knit fabric, I guess, on the inside. Looks really cool. But the most number of stitches I have is 4 without something there kind of keeping it in place. So I haven't talked about this a whole lot because the yarn is not yarn that I have here in the shop. It was yarn that we picked up when we were in California. But that's one of the reasons I haven't had a lot of other things other finished things to show you, because I've been working on this quite a bit. Now I want to do baby stuff in really soft yarn because it's going to go so much faster. Fortunately, I have baby stuff to make. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. Those are, I just cast on a hat, but it's just a basic cap beanie sort of hat. So this, although I can talk about the pattern because it is, see if I can do this without shaking my camera too much. It is nice in that it's written for preemie up to adult large, which would be head circumference 15 inches up to 23 inches. And it's a hat, so you could modify it from that, I'm sure. It uses a DK weight yarn. The pattern is called Simple as Hat, like simple as that, only simple as hat. I accidentally printed it twice because sometimes my printer does things the wrong way. But it's a pretty straightforward pattern. I wanted to use my knit call, which I did use some in a brighter color for a baby sweater a little while back, but this would be really great for a guy's hat or a woman's hat. So I decided I was going to cast that on. I also wanted to have, my goal was to have a project I could just knit stockinette in the round, so my hands had something to do while I was, hi Aunt Jackie. So my hands had something to do while I'm talking to you guys. In addition to being hot in here, it's very dry in here. So those are what I'm working on. I did mention that I have a box of yarn. So last week I got 2 boxes. The first box from Malabrigo was more Arroyo. I mentioned I did not get my natural color, of course, but I got some beautiful, beautiful colors. Like I have a few just sitting here. Oh, look at this. Look at that. This green is, it's not doing justice to it. This green is bright, bright green. I wish you could see it more accurately. Clearly I didn't do well with my lighting today, but just a few of the gorgeous colors that I got last week in Arroyo. We've done sweaters, a lot of sweaters in Arroyo. It works really well too. Malabrigo, let me tell you about it. DK weight yarn, 335 yards per skein, 100 grams, 100% superwash merino. Arroyo. So then the next day I got a box and it has mostly cotton in it. In addition though to the cotton, I finally got a restock of the speckle color. I thought I opened it. There we go. I did. Of Caprino. So a little while back, I showed this beautiful meld cowl. And then I whipped up a quick matching knit pattern for the leftovers, but it takes 1 skein each. Oh, sense a theme here, blue and natural. I do that sometimes and don't even realize it. So I have now in stock all 3 colors to make these, that this little speckle comes and goes very, very quickly. This is, Diane, you could sub this yarn. Diane asked if it was the yarn used in the wrap. The Arroyo is, this is Caprino, which is the, it's also DK weight. They're 50 gram. This is 80% merino, 20% cashmere. And I do know there's a little bit of delay between when I see things and when I respond to them. So I may be answering the wrong question. So I got more of these in stock for people that have been waiting for kits for the meld cowl. And you need it out there now. It's the perfect little thing just to tuck inside your jacket. So I got more of that. But then I got cotton. Toss that stuff on the chair so I'm not throwing it on the floor. I have had a little bit of Malabrigo Verano in stock before. I have not done anything with it yet. So I'm excited to kind of play around with it. It's now about the time we should start thinking about spring knits, especially if it's going to be 78 degrees in here. I might need more tops like this to wear. But so Malabrigo Verano is 100% cotton. Let me get one out here. Worsted or DK, it kind of falls somewhere in the middle there. 205 yards, 100% Pima cotton, 100 grams. It says US 5 to 6 needles. Verano. This color is, I'm gonna have to open these up and let them sit for a minute. They're still a little bit damp. You can smell the vinegar, which is a good thing. By the time it dries, you don't smell that anymore, but that's a good thing in terms of making sure that they set the yarn well. This color is called Macchiato. It's like this tan with pink tones to it. If I hold it back here, it's a lot more accurate. They sent me free little patterns for this shawl called Margarita. Look at that. 3 skein shawl. They don't say what colors they used, but their first 2 colors, well, you can see it more in the picture than on the screen than I could when I was just looking at it, but they're very similar. So you can see the striping there a little bit. Obviously the 3rd color is more obvious, more contrast. Diane's asking, the blues would be pretty in the La Mandiola. Yes, it would cost more because it has cashmere in it. So 1 skein of Arroyo, which is 100 grams, is $21.99. Well, they range from $19.99 to $21.99, depending on when I got them. Just like everything else, prices are going up. The Caprino, yeah. The Caprino is $18 a skein. So for 100 grams, it would be 36 versus 21. So there definitely is a price difference, but it would be just a lush finished product. I mean, the 100% superwash merino is beautiful, but add some cashmere in there and you can't go wrong with that. Sally visited the first time on Saturday. Excellent. I'm glad you got in. Thank you. Okay, so I do have this book that's all patterns for Verano. Switch on this one. Margarita. Shawl Margarita. There is a little typo in here because it tells you you need 3 hanks of Verano, 1 in each color. And then it tells you colors A, B, C, and then your border is in color D. It's supposed to be color B. I mean, I'm going to double check that, but they can't tell you you need 3 colors and then give you a D color. So I've had my eye on a couple of the tops in here. Like this one, I think that one's really cool. I am such a sucker for stripes, you guys. Every time I do a huge batch of laundry and I'm hanging all my shirts up, like half of what's in my closet is stripes. But they've got this one called Claras. Look at that, just a little bit of detail in the top of it. This cardigan, a lace border cardigan they call it, is actually knit up in this color. So they do it, they're doing really nice tonal. Oh, look at how cool that is. Of course, they don't have like a full picture, but that looks like a great just have around the house to be able to throw it on cardigan. Charlotte, it's called. Of course, it's brioche. Uses anywhere from 5 to 8 hanks of the Verano. So macchiato is one of the colors that I got. They will retail for $14.99 a skein. Thank you, Diane, for putting that out there. I haven't even taken any of these out of the bag. I did make sure there was a hole cut in each bag so I could grab a skein out, so you didn't have to listen to me fighting too much with things. This color is hibiscus. Gorgeous coral, a dark coral color. Which these two came next to each other in the bag, and I don't know what they want to be, but they want to be something awesome together. Sun spot. Look at that. I love the lights and darks in here. I wish I could get it a little bit more accurate. There we go. A little bit of the lights, a little bit of the darks. My camera's doing all kinds of things. It is definitely more, I want to say push-up pop orange, if you know what I'm talking about. But these two together just scream summer. I may end up having to do that with these. How awesome would that look? Might be in my future. So that was hibiscus, and sunspot was that yellowy orange. Drive snorkeling is this one. And it's got bright blues, some deep purples, dark gray, a little bit of brown in there. It's really cool to see a hand-dyed speckly cotton yarn. They want to be the margarita shawl, you guys. Well, so then I'd have to figure out what my third color should be. Could be that, but that'd be pretty intense. I might have something else in here that works. Serena is like a slate gray blue with then some undyed natural sections in there. Well, no, it's probably dyed. It's a light tan color. It's very unique. But this last one is a cool speckle. Okay, I didn't do too terribly in Spanish, but Um, Humawaka is what I'm going to say. The name of this one is Humawaka. It's a very speckly one. So it's purples, pinks, little bits of oranges and yellows, but like dark grape purples and bright purples. Maybe I could do that in there. I don't know. Maybe put it in the middle. I do have a few colors of this in stock already, so I can play around with a few and we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. So those are my new colors of Verano. If you guys have made anything with this yarn, I think I asked before. I probably did, but I don't remember. Let me know if you've made anything, what you think of it. I am going to make sure whatever I do, I'll probably start with a shawl. It'd be a little bit quicker than a top. Make sure I can feel confident selling it to people and not worrying about it bleeding or fading or anything like that. It is hand wash, lay flat to dry. I just love this one though. This is my colors, I tell you what. But that Sunspot, I'm pretty proud of myself because it is out of my comfort zone for what I normally get. But I know everybody loves different things. Not everybody loves what I love. I think that's it for yarn. I did want to talk about, Tammy, what about the macchiato color? That could be too, going lighter instead of darker. Could do that. I don't know. I just feel like it needs something bolder. I do kind of like this speckle with it. That might be fun. I haven't talked about kind of supporting local businesses for a little while. So I wanted to mention just a couple things. Places that we've gone recently. I have posted pictures of Cafe 476, which is this cute little coffee shop. They're open, I think they're open 7 days a week. But what a cute name. They're right at the intersection of M46 and M47. If you're local to the area, you'll know it as the, I wanted to say the Pines, but that's not what it is. No, I can't think of it. The Point. Really, really cute place. I like going there when the weather's warmer too. They have a cute little patio out back that you can just sit and kind of look at nature. They have some bird feeders out there. But in terms of small companies that are local that just go above and beyond. Some of you know my husband recently got promoted. So he's moved up pretty quickly over the last 2 years, but he got promoted to captain. And in the mail the other day, we got a Yeti tumbler, the big ones, the big boys. And on one side, it had his name that said captain. And on the other side, it had a thin blue line flag and it said something under it, but I don't remember what it was. It was from Meyer and Associates, our financial advisors. I don't know how they heard that he got promoted. I don't know if they Facebook stalk their customers or if they just happened to hear it from one of their other clients. But I wanted to mention it because I think it's one of the things that I try to do as a small business. I know in a lot of ways I can't compete with the bigger players out there, but there are certain things that you'll get from smaller independently owned businesses that you're not going to get from those big things, from the big guys. And that was just one example of it, like just an out of the blue, really great, thoughtful gift. Not expected, definitely appreciated. If you are, the other place we've frequented a few times lately is in Lexington, which is in Michigan and not Ludington, because that's what I get all the time. Lexington is out in the thumb. It's between Port Huron and Port Sanilac, lower thumb, my hometown. But when Victoria and I, or Rod and Victoria and I are over that way, we like to go to Lexington Coffee Co. right downtown. There are two places. If you go to Lexington, and it's definitely a summer tourist town there, the boat docks there. People will stop there and you can watch the Port Huron to Mackinac sailing race. It's a great little town. I can say that now. Growing up, I wasn't so crazy about small towns, but if you go there, there are a lot of places to see. My two must-dos when I go there are the coffee shop, Lexington Coffee Co., and Steese's for pizza. They're right next door to each other. It's a small town. There's only one light, so it's not hard to find very many things. But I have talked to people before and they have heard me talking about Lexington, decided to take day trips or weekend trips there and loved it. So I sometimes forget that not everybody knows about it. So take some time this summer, head over that way. Diane says, Victoria looks so nice in her new sweater. Yes, did you guys see I posted that, I think, on Saturday? I can't believe I forgot to post it after Christmas, but it was great. She loved it. She she opened it and loved it, and then she realized I knit it and loved it even more. So it's awesome. That's what it's all about. Fran Miller, been there many times. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because it feels like it's getting to be like 80 some degrees in the shop right now. So hopefully I'll be back to being a little more organized. Diane, thank you for helping out, putting pattern links in there. Clearly, I don't do well when left to my own devices. Have a wonderful night. Have a great week. Stay warm if you're someplace where it's chilly like it is here, or where Barbara is up north, even more so. I hope that you're inspired to be creative this week. Start something new. I always want to. Finish something. I am going to, or just keep plugging away on what you've got. Have a great week. And if I don't see you in the shop, I will see you next Monday. Bye. Good night.